The double champ does what the heck he wants! At least, that's what you would say if he was a double champ. I mean, it's kind of hard to be a double champ as a hockey player. Anyways, today we are talking about the double champ of Penn State University, a guy who had gone out there with some knockouts like the old Conor McGregor at the UFC. Today we're talking about Gavin McKenna. And to really get things established as to how the story has gone, let's read what Penguins Jesus went out there and said on Twitter earlier yesterday. The Gavin McKenna timeline. A guy calls Gavin's mom something repeatedly at a bar and again outside. Gavin punches the kid's lights out. Arrested, bailed out, charges dropped. And then he puts up 8 points in a game and does the Conor McGregor-esque like an absolute villain. Oh my goodness, folks, that's the Conor McGregor-esque right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin McKenna just had himself an 8-point game. 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points, 11-4 win for Penn State over Ohio State. And 1 Conor McGregor-esque on tap. He wants that #1 pick status, people. My gosh. Gavin McKenna is going out there and really shoving it down everybody's throats that he is still that guy. Now, I am not going to necessarily let 1 8-point game totally flip the script on the way that I think about these prospects in this year's draft, what my thoughts are on Stenberg, on Verhoff, on McKenna himself. We actually do have some more to talk about when it comes to Keaton Verhoff, especially when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks. But for now, Gavin McKenna has gone out there with an 8-point game, a goal and 7 assists, a +2 against Ohio State University and the Buckeyes. This comes a full weekend after last week's University of Michigan Wolverines back-to-back, where McKenna, despite playing a total of 53 minutes combined in these games, only had himself a point. You can see how the NCAA schedule works out. McKenna had been producing quite a bit the past few weeks over here. Heading back into January post-World Juniors, things took a little bit of a road bump in the first game against Michigan State. 15 penalty minutes and only 8 minutes time on ice. I think he got ejected from that game. Is that correct? Anyways, the double champ does what the heck he wants because today we're talking about him scoring 8 points in a game. 7 shots, 1 power play goal, and now it brings his total NCAA point record up to 41 points in 27 games played. Now, I'm not going to say that McKenna has necessarily been producing at the absolute top-of-the-line Hobey Baker caliber rate like we have seen some other top prospects in previous years. Adam Fantilli won the Hobey Baker in his freshman season and then inevitably got drafted by Columbus. Same thing could be said about Celebrini in San Jose. Gavin McKenna, I don't want to make it seem like he is a lock for that trophy, or even one of the top contenders, to be honest. But 41 points, getting an 8-point game to propel him all the way into the top 7 of NCAA scoring, that is impressive. And it does put McKenna right there at #2 in terms of overall points per game, just 1 behind Ethan Wittenbach of Quinnipiac and the Calgary Flames prospect pool. So, hey, I guess that's all you gotta do to improve your draft stock and to show off that you actually are that good. Just score 8 points in a game, and everybody's like, oh, he's that guy. Okay. Not to mention the Conor McGregor-esque, of course. That is an absolute cherry on top for McKenna to be able to wiggle around like the Irish champ that was. Let's go out there and take a look at Scott Wheeler. He posted the full highlight pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points for Gavin McKenna against Ohio State. Nothing too crazy in these plays. He's making passes, he's finding guys, he's getting himself the puck, and he's throwing it over to whomever is able to put it in the back of the net. So obviously, McKenna only scored a goal, but getting 7 assists in a game is absolutely one of these elements that we can hang our hats on and say that McKenna boosted his draft stock from. Just being able to find the right guy at the right time, score himself, of course, that's important as well. But Gavin McKenna, now looking at his splits, 12 points in his last 5 games, 23 points in his last 10 games, and that is with the technically unproductive weekend against the Wolverines included. Ever since the guy got put back and reinstated into the lineup, you can say that things have been very, very good for him. And, of course, this comes just a few days after we made our video talking about how Gavin McKenna may have gotten, I don't want to say framed, maybe that's not the right word to say, but there may have been some sort of an idea that somebody wanted to leech off of the fame of this guy a little bit too hard a few weekends ago. We'll leave it at that. We don't need to dive too much into the free McKenna conversation over there. But imagine being that guy. All this controversy after the World Juniors, everybody's questioning your work ethic. He went out there and produced so much, 14 points in 7 games, but people were still finding ways to tear him down. And I'm absolutely in that conversation. I was one of the folks going out there and saying, like, yeah, I didn't like McKenna's attitude. I didn't like the way he talked to the media. I didn't like the on-ice lackadaisical qualities that he brought. Even though he was productive, there were still so many clips and moments where you could look at McKenna on the ice for Team Canada and say, what the hell's this guy doing? Like, that's not how a first overall caliber guy should be playing or acting or moving around on the ice. There were a number of issues that Gavin McKenna displayed at the World Juniors that other prospects like Ivar Stenberg just did not. And even though Stenberg had fewer points, McKenna was still a guy that I think a lot of people poked fingers at and started questioning elements of his game. Now, after this drama with him punching a guy and then getting charged with a felony, like, this has completely flipped the McKenna perspective up on its head. And I think it's so bizarre how that can happen, because this is one of these things where, you know what they say about poetic justice, right? Anyways, Gavin McKenna, following in the footsteps of Conor McGregor, the guy whom he was compared to by his Nittany Lions teammates in the comment section of his Instagram post following the punch and the felony charge, he's gone out there and started replicating the guy on the ice. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a good thing, but it is an exciting thing. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Gavin McKenna's 8-point game, 1 goal, 7 assists, 11-4 win over Ohio State University and the Buckeyes? I think, just based off of the way the NCAA plays their weekends and based off of the scheduling, they would have to probably play again later today. So if McKenna can drop another 8 stack, if he can get 16 points in 2 games against Ohio State, then take this guy first overall. That's it, straight up. Bring him over to Vancouver. It seems like the Canucks and McKenna idea is building momentum anyway, so why not capitalize on what is already being built up, eh? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.